Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. 30K on my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they in my archives. Jordan came back to the 4-5. If you play then you lay right there by your own kind. Pull up a 4 in a loco, tell them run this bitch back like so-so. Got this rap here in the chokehold. Did a show out in Austin, shout out to Bobo. Moved out the trenches, now look how we live. Tell my BM to furnish the crib. Walk out the mall with some shoes for the kids. Deposit the checks from my bank full of M's. Paid up my rent, now I'm up for the year. The view look crazy from here. What I paid for some dogs could've bought me veneers. Texas piece on my neck could've bought your career. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. Stuffing Cali blood, weed in the blunt. Let my little brother roll in my Dutch. My little boy get whatever he want. Madam T don't be asking for much. Pouring lean on the nuggets and runs. Spill the rest of that drink in a punch. Left wrist on some, I had to stunt. Right wrist, I just did it because 600 the labor, you know how we coming. Tell them they ain't taking nothing. Standing on business, we shooting and punching. Hey man, go get you some money. I just got off a tour, finna go on another one. Album done, finna drop me another one. Couple M's, finna run up another one. Super Bowl ring, straight had to go double. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless. Hey, safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. 30K on my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they in my archives. Jordan came back to the 4-5. If you play then you lay right there by your own kind. Pull up a 4 in a loco, tell them run this bitch back like so-so. Got this rap here in the chokehold. Did a show out in Austin, shout out to Bobo. Moved out the trenches, now look how we live. Tell my BM to furnish the crib. Walk out the mall with some shoes for the kids. Deposit the checks from my bank full of M's. Paid up my rent, now I'm up for the year. The view look crazy from here. What I paid for some dogs could've bought me veneers. Texas piece on my neck could've bought your career. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. Stuffing Cali blood, weed in the blunt. Let my little brother roll in my Dutch. My little boy get whatever he want. Madam T don't be asking for much. Pouring lean on the nuggets and runs. Spill the rest of that drink in a punch. Left wrist on some, I had to stunt. Right wrist, I just did it because 600 the labor, you know how we coming. Tell them they ain't taking nothing. Standing on business, we shooting and punching. Hey man, go get you some money. I just got off a tour, finna go on another one. Album done, finna drop me another one. Couple M's, finna run up another one. Super Bowl ring, straight had to go double. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless.
What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another live stream. Sorry for the late to the jump start here. YouTube, I don't know what was going on with YouTube. Kicked me off twice. Kicked me off of the live stream twice. The market makers don't want me on this beautiful Friday streaming with you guys. Just joking around. Thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you read what's on the screen real quick before we hop into it. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a recommendation or suggestion to do anything at all. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Yeah, they definitely don't want me on today, man. I could tell. I got a fraction of the people that are usually on here, man. Damn. And then, like nothing across socials. Damn. All right, whatever. I'll be streaming, hanging out with you guys, whoever's on here. I appreciate you being on. All 7 of you right now. There's usually like 30, 40 right off the rip on YouTube. We got a couple on Kick, like 2 on X. It is what it is, peeps. Maybe everybody will roll in later. Let's hop into it. Market's open. Open and moving. Let's hop out to the daily. Make sure these zones are marked up. We got the 7-pack of straight to funded Sim Pro accounts here with Top 1 Futures on Project X. Gonna see if we can't get some motion here on a beautiful Friday. Wolf, what's up? JB, what's up? Scott, what's up? Dwayne, what's going on? Welcome. The gang's all here, Scott. Everybody that matters, right? No, I'm just kidding. Appreciate you. Yeah, see, YouTube kept sending me to the wrong video. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Something was jacked up this morning. Usually it's pretty smooth. I can't complain. Across streaming, it's usually pretty smooth. But every once in a while, it does something like that. And then when it does it, it seems like it just straight up throttles me. Like I have nobody that hops on. But it's all good. I'll be here streaming, showing you guys how and why and what I do, for better or for worse. So, out on the daily chart, man. Absolutely bullish move yesterday. Let's just break down yesterday real quick. And then I'm definitely going to talk about prop trading, live account trading. I'm going to do a little overview because I've had a couple updates I want to talk about. I got new people hopping in the Discord all the time. Here was our session yesterday, guys. I got to be honest, this one was frustrating. It's part of staying consistent. It's part of being patient. It's part of just doing what you know you're supposed to do. But this was hard to watch. You can go back and watch yesterday's live session. I marked this discretionary level based on price action and market structure and volume yesterday, right? This visible range volume profile was looking a little bit different yesterday. This was marked before this candle was here, okay, guys? Look at where the low of the session was. Why didn't I hop in? Marking zones doesn't get you paid. Executing, putting risk on the line gets you paid. I had the 6480s with like 200 on the book, just a couple ticks below where this candle printed that I was waiting for to get filled on Bookmap. And unfortunately, that did me dirty. That market just absolutely ripped from there through all-time highs and continued to the upside. We can get rid of this zone. Where's prior day high? Yeah, I'm going to leave this on here. I'm going to leave this 8/15, August 15th high. I like that. That was the prior high from way back over here. I'm going to leave that on there today. And we really just rallied almost all the way into the close. We popped right here, and then we sold off just a little bit into MOC into the close. Overnight session, really clean pullback. Really clean pullback. I'm going to mark a couple other things on my chart. I've been running a trading view chart on the side, and like I was talking about yesterday, I have volume profiles running. The only reason I don't do it on here is because it's honestly just a little bit annoying to do, session volume profile. But I'm going to do it with you guys because I really like the way that it looks. This was a beautiful pullback, really beautiful pullback in the overnight session, all the way into pre-market. London sold off really aggressively, right? Here's the open on London, 3 a.m. Sold off right towards this area here. Prior week high, right? Key level, along with that area of high volume, right? On visible range volume profile. But I think this was also yesterday's value area low, right? I don't like to overlay my chart with too much, and I don't mark my chart really at all with anything on TradingView. I just run 4 things. The exact same 3 that I have on here: volume on the bottom, visible range volume profile, VWAP, and then I run session volume profile. Which are all just volume tools. Like, I don't really consider them, technically VWAP is an indicator because it's an average price, but I really don't consider any of the other volume stuff indicators. They're just displays of volume, either vertical on the bottom or horizontal over on the right and left-hand side. So I'm going to mark that up. But anyway, we rallied really aggressively, pulled right back in. Beautiful pullback. Friday. What do we get today? Let's talk about the markets for today, right? So we opened up from this level, right? Found some buyers here, opened up, popped right back up to VWAP, and now we are starting to turn back down to the downside, coming back down to test this overnight low level. I'm just looking at the 15 minutes to get started. We're still dropping down to the 1. I'm interested. I'm really interested either way today. Why all week I just have not been able to execute longs is a question that I've asked myself a few times. I've done the review. I've looked back. Yesterday was as close to as I got as catching a really nice move. And it's tough. It's tough to see that missed opportunity, right? I jumped in and out of a short on these accounts, closed it out for $9, realized that I didn't really want to put risk on in these. I want to keep these for trading live, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I'll do it all in one segment so I can clip it for everybody. And I threw a short in the 50Ks, and obviously that was an L. So, nothing crazy, but it's part of it. So for today, looking at these markets, pull back down to an area of high volume, pull back down to prior week high, found some buyers, cracked back up to VWAP, sold back off, right? Back down around, putting in session lows here, okay? I'm interested to see where we go from here. Do we start to sell off a little bit lower? Do we come back down to this discretionary level? Maybe back down towards yesterday's low, maybe this Newswick low, a little bit further down. I could see that happening, right? We've had a really, really, really big bullish move. Oftentimes this does happen in between here, right? We catch a nice, like something like that, beautiful, big sell-off, and then here we go, we're reloaded for all-time highs. We've had a nice extension here. We really haven't ran. We didn't do anything crazy. After cracking this, we kind of just cracked it. Can we just take off from here? Sure, absolutely. And I would look long on that for a continuation through VWAP. I'm going to try to find my way in long if we start moving. Market is just way too strong, and I've been on the sidelines for a lot of it. Conversely, we sell off a little bit. I could see us coming to the downside, right? I try to stay somewhat flexible. Not too flexible, though. I could see us coming to the downside first. 480s, same level that I was watching yesterday, right? 64.80 down around that level. I could see us sweeping that low. Bookmap not really screaming at me for anything too strong this morning outside of a pretty negative CVD. So it does look like we want to probe for some lower pricing so far. So nothing crazy just yet. Not going to do anything nuts. It's Friday. Would like to end the week off with a bang, but it's Don't F It Up Friday. I love that term. Don't F It Up Friday. So many traders trade well all week. They manage risk. They keep things controlled. They make money or they're break even. Friday comes, they go, I didn't make a bunch of money. I didn't do all the things that I want to do. I didn't, I'm going to leave this zone here. I didn't hit all of my goals, and I'm going to force my will on the market. And what do? They F it up, all right? So, if you do nothing else, Capital Preservation Friday, people talk. If you do nothing else, try not to F it up on a Friday. So here was some 8:30 news. Looking at news, this was Core PCE Price Index. We got some 10 a.m. revised consumer sentiment. Nothing too crazy for 10 a.m. though. Nothing insane. But yeah, found some buyers down here after a pretty nice correction, and then pulling back up to VWAP, finding some sellers, and now starting to continue lower. On a pretty nice CVD. So, going to let the market open up, 9:45. Again, I could see getting involved long on this, but I'm going to be, I was patient yesterday. On my review, I did wait. I waited for my level to be hit, and I have to say that I probably could have found another way in long. After a move like this, something like this into the afternoon. Rather than looking short later into the afternoon, easy to just find your way in long on a move like this. But didn't pull that. But I'm going to stay patient enough today, right? Wait for everything that I need to jump in so I can say if I have to take an L, good job. So far, selling off. Coming to check out this overnight low. Here we go. Sweeping the low. It's looking pretty aggressive. I'll be chatting with you guys in just a minute, but market's moving. I'm on here. 9:46. Yeah, ready to look for some trades. We're past that first 10 to 15 minutes. Really, really hard rule for me. I'm going to say not hard rule, but a pretty nice guardrail. If I find myself involved between 9:30 and 9:39 a.m. Eastern, the first 10 minutes, I'm probably doing something wrong. Preferably 15 minutes. After that, it's open season. This looks like we want to come lower. Heavy negative CVD, big volume to the downside. Really nice volume to the downside. 64.80s. Yeah, I really really don't want to be a seller, but I'm gonna take a look at this. Just zooming out on the 15 minutes to get a higher time frame view, right? I like to do this. I'm holding my trades longer. I run pretty wide stops and targets. The 1 minute is great for looking at reactions right at levels, right at zones, right? Really zoomed in price action. But so far, this is looking pretty aggressive to the downside. We have the 6480s as we're trading through the 86s right now. The 6470s could be in play all the way down towards prior day low. That's the first area that I'd be looking to get involved for a long. Taking a look at Bookmap, which again, tool that I use, but really didn't help me out yesterday. It's been a couple times over the past couple weeks where I've really questioned being more hesitant or more aggressive based on Bookmap levels. But this is an interesting spot down here. This is an interesting spot down here. Same level as yesterday on before pre-market. We got a few on the book here, but as you can see, pretty negative cumulative volume delta, which is exactly what the name describes, a cumulative volume delta, displaying the difference in buy versus sell volume. If we are declining as price is moving lower, really getting a pretty heavy negative CVD, that could be an indication that we are not ready to bounce just yet. Sellers are in, and they are overpowering buyers to the downside. Let's take a look. Or again, just from a dumb guy pattern recognition type of way, the number gets really negative on CVD, we usually start moving lower. So I want to see what happens here. I'm just zoomed out here on the 15-minute. I'm looking at prior day low. I don't think that this zone, this area holds. I think we could see a probe all the way down here today. This is pretty aggressive off the open. Again, buying dips pretty much all week would have worked really nicely. Is today the day that we absolutely sell off on a Friday? We have a really bloody Friday, come all the way back down to the 6400s. If we didn't find buyers down here, start catching a bid and push it back up to the upside, I think we could be headed all the way down. I don't really see us just drifting lower here without aggressively moving through this area of low volume, as you could see it on the visible range volume profile, and you could just see it on market structure, right? If we don't start to catch some support at this potential support level, right? If I had to mark a zone, this is where it would be. I think we're moving lower, so I wouldn't mind getting involved here, right? Higher time frame price action market structure to the upside, absolutely very, very strong market. Wouldn't mind being a buyer back up towards the highs, at least back up towards VWAP, and throwing a stop loss pretty wide down here would allow me to do that. So first potential trade, gonna be looking for a buy, but it's gonna have to be from down here. I don't want a stop loss right here. Before that, this looks like a short, man. Heavy negative CVD. Look at VWAP, man. All week for NYSE session. VWAP bounces, would have played, and then eventually continuations through VWAP. Wild, man. All right, let's see what you guys are yapping about. What is up, everybody? What's going on? JB, short from nice overnight pivot. Took a short. Daily tail, what's up? Andrew, good night, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. What's up? Good morning, RDF fam. Late to the charts this morning. Yeah, YouTube was kicking me off. I don't know what YouTube had going on this morning, but throttling the stream. They don't like me, or we're making too much money on YouTube. I don't know. No. You guys were yapping about different who was who, talking about different spots, incorporated for different indicators, and trust my instincts on what I've seen in the past. Nice. YouTube, yeah, we talked about that. YouTube was sending people to the wrong link. I don't know what was going on. It's crazy. Anyway, what's up, Luciano? What's going on, peeps? What's up, Enzo? What's up, Kobe Clark? What's up, the boys on Kick? Appreciate you guys hopping on. You guys are helping me work towards getting verified and becoming a partner on Kick. What's up, X? What's up to my peeps on Twitter? For you guys that love Twitter, feel free to hop on YouTube or Kick. Be more than happy to have you on a lower latency, no ads site. YouTube has a gnarly delay. Don't know if you guys know that. I also can't read and talk to you guys. Can't read chat messages or talk to anything. So I'm going to throw it in there for you guys while I'm watching this market. Bounce at my zone again. Again, I'm not getting long up here. I would take a continuation today. If we really started to find buyers at a certain point, I'm going to use my discretion and look for a continuation play to the upside. It would have worked all week. It would have worked in the past. I seem to be slow on the longs for this entire bull market, and it's something that I'm trying to get a little bit better at. That said, if I'm going to look aggressively long, I'm going to wait for a level to get hit, which is around the 70s. Around the 70s. Right below that prior day low with a wide stop loss. That's what I'd be looking to run. But I was going to try to throw some links in the chat for y'all on Twitter. There we go. In the chat on Twitter, you got my YouTube and you got my Kick. More than happy to have you on either one of those. Streaming free. There's no ads on Kick at all. There's no, and there's super low latency. It's also real high quality. YouTube's pretty sweet too. Get to read your guys' chat it up. You like X? I'm still going to try to stream there. I just don't talk too much on X. I don't really post anything. It's extremely negative. I don't find that anybody wants to talk about trading. They just want to talk about talking crap about each other and drama. That's most of what I find on Twitter these days. Drama. It's a drama machine. What's up, guys? Jump out, lose my crown. What's up? What's up? Trader Julie Kate with the number one spot. Not very nice. I don't know how. I don't know. YouTube is jacked up with that. It never seems to work right. But it's supposed to be whoever's chatting the most. What's going on, guys? Go NQ. Made my goal. Very nice. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm watching this thing for a potential long if we get really aggressive to the downside. Staying patient off the open as I have. But, yeah, been an interesting week. Been an interesting week for sure. I got a question for those in chat. Maybe one of you guys know this. Does TradingView allow you to be logged in to any account, let's say even a live account, on multiple computers or a phone and a computer, for example? I'm curious about that. I wonder if it's going to kick me out. Yeah, let's watch this market, man. Let's watch this market. Checking out this zone down here. Watching bookmap over on the side. This looks like we want to. This looks like we want to still come lower. I'm not looking long on this. If I had to be anything, I'd be short towards prior day low. This is very aggressive. I think we're gonna wick lower. Maybe we come back up, test prior week high first, test VWAP again. But we got an aggressively negative CVD. This looks like sellers in store. I'm not taking these small scalp trades, but this is not a bad one right here. What's happening, right? I don't think that's a terrible one. I don't love it, right? I don't love tight stops like that, especially these days. Could run something like that to the downside. Could wait for a retest of VWAP and then go. Yeah, here we go. This looks like we want to continue down. And again, I don't mind it for a really aggressive long. I'm going to say past the 70s. Let's say past the 70s. End of the month, right? End of August here. Last trading day of August. Coming out of that summer slump. We should get some serious price action and market structure coming into next week, which I'm excited about. For those of you that are on here hanging out, I am not streaming at all next week. I am running around another part of the world, which I'm excited about. I'm off the charts, vacation. Monday is a U.S. holiday. Banks are closed. Stock market's closed. Futures are open for a half day in the morning, I believe, and then they close out. But I am doing no live streaming next week, man. Back to a full schedule the following week. I got some YouTube videos loaded up. I'll have some fun stuff once I get back. But limited responses for me while I am off the desk. I don't take breaks much at all. If you guys know, you know that I'm streaming here every day. It's been 2 times a day for a while, every damn day. But this is a nice vacation. Me and my wife are going to enjoy. Got to enjoy the fruits of your labor sometimes. This is interesting, man. This is interesting. Found some buyers right here past these 80s. Let's see. Kobe Clark is restricted to 1 PC or device at a time. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I figured, right? Like similar to most, well, not really. Some platforms, they do that. Yeah, guys, I'm interested in this. Really interested in this. I'm just waiting for my plan of attack here. If I'm going to look really aggressively long on this, it's going to be a dip down lower. If I'm going to wait for a continuation, it's going to be a continuation. We're going to have to turn around and put some serious bullish structure in, maybe start to come back through VWAP, and I can run something like that. But this is still a really, really negative CVD, continuing to get more and more negatives. Negative 12,000 on Bookmap for me. I start my Bookmap half hour to an hour before I hop on here with you guys. Sometimes a little bit earlier, but and load an hour of data. Finding some buyers right here though. I'm wondering if I'm wondering if we start to see a little bit of a bounce. Finding some buyers right here. I don't know that we head all the way down to prior day low. This is interesting, man. Interesting. Nice sell-off. Complete correction from yesterday. Coming right back down towards the low. Yeah, man. If we really start getting past, we'd have to get past like the 60s for me to really think we were going to head down towards like 6,400. 10 a.m. Oh, 10 a.m. news. Sorry, guys. Orange folder. I'm too focused up on the market right now. Orange folder news coming out right now. Should see a little bit of volatility. We can see that printing right now. Got some orange folder news running. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't expect anything insane out of that. But we do have orange folder news rolling right now. Let's see. Chat, what's up? Boy, I'm slow on the trigger today. What's up, Sandy? NQ is melting. Do we wait for news at 10? There we go. There's news at 10. Yeah, have a nice holiday. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, not Jamaica this time around, Scott. Ooh, nice bounce. Bouncing off sentiment. First target hit. JB, nice. Making some money. Does kill zone improve edge, or it's same edge if setups are the same? I don't know. I don't know what kill zone is. I think that's just a fancy term for a support and resistance style strategy based on probably market structure, price action, volume, and time in some capacity or another. So if you find some tools that you like or some way to mark the chart up that you find confidence in and works for you, I think that's the most important thing to do. I don't think there's anything out there that's magic that works better than anything else. I think it comes down to what you can do well. That's why we see so many traders using so many different tools, trading so many different ways, and most of them not making money, but plenty of them making money. And a lot of the stuff they use does not overlap at all. Last trade in the month equals no trading for me. Yeah, man. End of the week, right? End of the month, end of August. This before a holiday weekend, right? So we got it's Labor Day, right? Labor Day is Monday. Sorry, I don't want to be a complete idiot here. I think Monday's Labor Day. Yeah, Monday, September 1st is Labor Day. I only know holidays now in the sense of what's closed and what's open. But stock market's closed. U.S. stock market is closed. Bond market's closed. Like I said, futures have an early close where they open up and then close. I think it's 1 p.m. Eastern, something like that. But it's going to be a no trade day. So, yeah, this could be dicey. This could be dicey today. Could be a little bit irregular, volume and volatility where we have, just forget the narrative as to why. I'll just talk in dumb guy sense. End of the month, right? Maybe end of the quarter, right before and after U.S. holidays where the markets are closed. Those days we can tend to see some kind of weird stuff happen, for lack of a better term. The market's always going to do something weird, but maybe even a little bit weirder, right? I try to just keep myself in my lane, which is pattern recognition and technical analysis, and not talk about the why behind what happens, but just what I observe happen. So that's the thought process. So we popped a little bit on that news, still selling off, man. Sellers are not backing off. Aggressive move to the downside again. Man, yeah, like I said, guys, I'm going to look aggressively long on this, but I'm waiting patiently for prior day low to get taken out, maybe a little bit lower, and I'm going to run this with a nice wide stop loss. I want to be like down past like the 50s. Like I want to run like a 20 point. I would take a long from down here, like a 20 point stop. I could almost just watch this on the 15 minute. If we start to get past any of this, we come down past this news wick and we really continue to sell off, I think I'm dead wrong, and we're in for a really bloody close today. Potential for the 6400, 6390s to the downside. If not, I think we could potentially start to chop. We could pull back up to VWAP. We could just retest VWAP before selling off. Give me a way to structure risk, right? To know if I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong. But so far, this is aggressive. It's going to be an aggressive long, right? I'm buying into selling pressure. I'm really not going to wait for a reaction down here at all. So I'm looking just below the 70s for a long. Just below the 70s for a long. This would be a full risk trade, meaning I'm only going to have, essentially one shot. If I put this one on and get cooked, that's it. We wrap it up. Within risk management, right? You accept what you put on. You accept where your stop loss level is. And you let the market do whatever it's going to do. Aggressive. Here we go, guys. Let's see. Maybe even the 65s because we got quite a bit of liquidity right here. Let's see. Sweeping prior day low. I'm waiting for a little bit more of a move down. This is super, super aggressive. There we go. Give me the 65s. Aggressive. Let's get ready for it, boys and girls.
Order filled.
Taking it right there. I'm going to try that bad boy right there. 67 and a quarter. Started to see just a little bit of buyer step in down here. Let's see. Full risk. This is going to be a 20-point stop. $1,000. I'm long one from 67 and a quarter. This is aggressive. I'm buying into selling pressure without waiting for much of anything to happen, a big reaction, a big candle to print, nothing like that. Could get cooked. Stop loss is all the way down below this news candle low. I think if we have to come down through the 6450s where my stop is, I'm wrong. I'm at least dead wrong from up here. At least completely dead wrong from up here. But I like this for a really aggressive long, a potential move back up towards VWAP, at least back up above these highs to give me over a 1-to-1 without even having to turn this into a big green day. I like this level on the 15-minute chart. Outside of that, it's, smash the short button. If you think we're going to sell off to oblivion, we're going to go see the 6400s, send it. If you are just a continuation of the downside trader, breakout, that's your play, absolutely go ahead and send it. Do your thing. But for me, this is my move for the day. I'm looking for us to catch some buyers around this level. 64, 65s, yeah, getting traded out. Seeing if we can't catch some longs down here. Very aggressive, right? I think if we sell off, if we continue, 6400s would be target to the downside. All the way to the downside would be a huge correction on a Friday. Close out the month on a pretty gnarly red day. That's a nice extension to the downside. Area of high volume on the chart. Let's take a look at starting to mark. Show you what, now that we're in a trade. So I'm long one from 64, 67 and a quarter. Stop at 64, 47 and a quarter, right down below the 64.50s. Gonna let this bad boy run. That's it. Started to talk about marking up volume profile, and I'll show you how I mark it up on TradingView, which I think I should be marking here. And maybe I'm going to take off like prior week high and low or prior day. I probably don't need prior day high and low because it gives me that. But since I can't use session volume profile, yeah, unfortunately Project X just doesn't have it. I'm going to manually mark it. Going to manually mark it with the drawing tool. Fixed range volume profile coming from... Oh, no, that's the wrong spot. 1800. Mark a couple days here. Let's see what we got. Nothing for me to do in this one. Trade's on, so now we can chill out, mark some charts up. Just want to do a little comparison while we're hanging out watching this bad boy. Yeah, I get my levels in about the same spot that I do on TradingView. Oh, we can start marking out today's, and we would have to continue to drag this one over. But just taking a look, this is at 65.17 and a quarter. Yep. The 27th is at about 64.92. 64.90. Yeah, 64.92. Yeah, we're good here. I like that. So again on TradingView, I have my live account connected to TradingView nowadays. I was working with MotiveWave, not really super stoked on MotiveWave. MotiveWave I think is great. I'm just an idiot and I don't want to learn a new platform. But in the interest of not having to mark up like 47 different of the same TradingView charts, I just mark up Project X because I'm trading that live with you here. But I do like the way that a really zoomed out 15-minute chart with session volume profile running does look. I think it's pretty clean. So it gives you obviously value area high, value area low, and volume point of control for every session that you mark it up for. If you want something that's extremely similar on Project X, you have to do it manually the way that I just did, which is kind of annoying, but you do day by day, and that's it. If I was gonna leave this up like this, I'd have to get rid of some levels because I'm overlaying too much over price. Gets to be a little bit too tough to see. Maybe not the current day that's printing. Maybe not the current day that's printing, or at least getting rid of some zones. So let's see, chat. Let's see. Heavy negative CVD, not really catching the bid that I'd like to see from down here. Not really catching the bounce. Negative 16,000 on cumulative volume delta. This one could be tough. This one could be tough. We now have 258 on the book, down at 64.40. If we don't start to find some buyers and start to catch a little bit of a bounce here soon, this is gonna look ugly. This is gonna look ugly. But I like this trade. I like really aggressive long and short trades. Once we get past the open. I like them off of key levels with a nice wide stop loss where if I'm wrong, I'm absolutely dead wrong. I had nothing else for me to trade on the chart. I'm not a continuation sell after we've sold off and we're extended, 30 points from VWAP, 35 points from VWAP. That's not my play. Nice wide stop, right? 20 points, 80 ticks. We don't catch it here. I think we're getting cooked, and it's going to be an aggressive sell-off. An aggressive sell-off. But we're not short today. We're not short today, so I can be happy about that. Let's see. Let's see what the market's got for me today. Let's see, you guys were chatting it up in chat. Appreciate y'all hopping on as always. Let's see. Scott, what do I have to Team Bear? You guys were talking about I'm never long again. What's up, bro? 150K. Okay, so a trader makes a good question. Trader Julie Kate, right? So 150K sim funded with a 20% consistency rule can't make more than $1,800 per day. And if you guys want the detail information on that, you can't make more than $1,800 per day. Why? The profit target is $9,000. And what's 20% of $9,000? $1,800 per day. Easier way to do it is just divide the profit target by 5. With NQ melting, should I have collected the cash and worry about consistency later? I got locked out at 1,800. So first off, congratulations. Beautiful trade and a nice personal daily profit target. Well done. W's in the chat. You've been absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Stick to your guns. Try to keep risk controlled. The question that you're asking depends on what your goals are, right? And I'll talk, and this is going to be a little bit of a transition into my goals and kind of what my game plan is for these accounts, for now the 150Ks that I'm going to trade on the side, the straight to funded, my live accounts with futures and with stocks. But it depends on your goals. So up front, you should have a game plan. Game plan number 1 would be to get funded and then make it towards a payout, right? If that's your game plan, and that's probably a smart game plan for maybe anybody who hasn't made it to a prop firm payout yet, or you're at a new firm and you haven't made it to a prop firm payout yet at that firm, I think your goal should be make it to one payout with trading one account, right? It just doesn't make sense to oversize, over leverage, put more risk on the line until you're really comfortable with what you're doing, right? And then put the guardrails up, yeah. And then put more risk on the line, right? Well, I want you to prove concept first. So if you're going to do that, right, the game plan would be to stop yourself at a 20% consistency rule, right? If you have a huge day, it's a tough part of working with consistency rules with prop firms. No doubt about that. Objectively, that's why consistency rules are tough. But if you have a huge day, it really pushes out the point of when you can take a payout, right? If you put up $2,000, for example, now you got to hit $10,000 before you can take a payout. You put up, $3,000, you got to take it to $15,000, right? So unless, you are somebody who just inherently wants to build a bigger buffer and trade larger on the way to a payout, which really doesn't make sense, you want to set that consistency rule. Now, for me, and again, this is just my humble opinion, and I don't have it all figured out. I'm not the best trader. I'm not the best prop firm trader. I'm not the best anything. So I'm just talking in the context of what I think, makes sense to me personally. So grain of salt, everything. If you make it maybe to one payout, right? Or maybe to two payouts, or you're a more experienced trader, everybody really but the more beginners who haven't made it to any payouts yet or any payouts with that firm, I think it makes sense to think about the live account, right? Think about the transition to a live account, which in your case, Trader Julie Kate, based on you taking multiple payouts, I would say it's probably time to think about this, right? And adjust and go this other way. Here's what you have to think about. When do they start looking at people for live, right? You can get this from their rules, and you can also get this just from the general atmosphere of who's trading. And I'm going to talk about it for Top 1 Futures, which is one of the fastest now to move people to live accounts. Specifically with Top 1 Futures, the numbers are 3 payouts from the same instant funded account or 2 payouts from the same straight to funded Sim Pro account. But you can get considered for a live before that. You cannot get taken live after you've hit that. Okay, it's at the firm's discretion. This is the same at every prop firm as far as it being at the firm's discretion. They're going to consider you for a live account. Look at your trading. Look at all the metrics. Probably do what's best for them and maybe for you also. But either way, it's on you to consider it and think about it. At Top 1, it's becoming really clear that they're taking traders to live even faster. This is a great conversation. Even faster than those metrics. Yesterday, again, I watched another trader say they got called up live after one payout. Okay? So in your case, or anybody's case maybe that's taken a payout or two at Top 1, I think you should be thinking about the move to live. What do they consider for that move to live? How much profit are you allowed to take? What account does it come from? What accounts are you trading? And act accordingly. So in your case, Trader Julie Kate, right? You might say, okay, I'm probably going to get called up live. I've taken a couple payouts. If I get close to taking another one or, whatever it is, I'm going to get looked at and they're going to call me up from whatever the account is. If you want to be put in the best position, you would want to consider building a buffer, right? How much can you take max from Top 1 Futures? 10% from any one account. Up to 10% of the initial balance from any one account, right? So in a 50K, it's 5,000, 100K is 10,000. In 150K, which you're trading, it's 15,000 of profit after the payout that gets you called up to live, right? Again, you can get called up before, after the number that they provide, which I was just talking about. So in your case, Trader Julie Kate, if you're trading this 150K account, you've already taken a couple payouts, maybe even from other accounts, not this account, whatever it is. They're probably watching you and they're probably going to look at you after this payout if you make it to this next one, right? In which case, you might want to push out that consistency rule and aim to put $15,000, $18,000, $20,000 in that account before you take a payout. So when they say, hey, you're getting called up to live, you get started with the maximum amount. You don't have to do that, right? But if that's the focus and you are going to get called up to a live account, of course you want the largest size live account that you can get. So that's the thought process here, guys, with prop firms. The trend that I've seen in the past, there was no focus on live. It wasn't even a thing. Everybody was just, trading for sim profits and that's it. Leverage as much as you possibly can and, hit the reset button, right? That sim game, that sim farming game, in my humble opinion, it's slowly going away. Different firms are stopping it faster than others, but that's, if that's what you're doing, do your thing. Not you specifically, Trader Julie Kate, but I'm saying it's a very different concept there. But the thought process is, after you start to grab some consistency, right? And this is, again, not for the beginner trader, not for most. But after you start to grab some consistency, which you definitely have, you want to start looking at, I'm going to get moved to a live account. How can I put myself in a good position for when that happens so I'm not upset about it or feel like they're throttling me or nerfing me, as I see people say online, but I'm hyped about it. There's no consistency rule. There's daily payouts. You get to work with a dedicated risk manager and you get to have a nice singular account that you could look at scaling, right? And really run those profits. So that's what I would look at. That's what I would look at. And I see you got a couple questions, but I'm going to transition this one because I want to be able to clip something. Let me actually look at the time. As I'm watching this trade go, guys, we started to find some buyers here. Is it just going to be a pullback to prior day low? I don't know. We're watching this one zoomed out on the 15-minute. Yeah, but we're about 50 minutes into the stream. I wanted to talk about this. Me personally, right? Because you guys watch what I do here live. Again, trade's going to play out. We're just going to let it do its thing. I'm trading 7 straight to sim funded pro accounts with you guys day in and day out here live with Top 1 Futures. my game plan for these accounts is to continue to trade with them through to success or failure, right? All the way to running up towards a payout in a live account or failure, specifically on these. Why? Because I said I was going to do that. I've never traded intraday trailing drawdown accounts. I've never traded accounts with this equity stability score. And I want to be, an example and, kind of you guys can watch how it plays out for me. Maybe that helps you for better or for worse for me, right? Is that the most advantageous thing if my goal is a live account, which it is? No, I would probably be just trading one account individually because you're only going to get called up from one, and you would look to build a big buffer maybe before taking a payout, right? I'm also trading, I was trading 50K instant fundeds. I'm going to trade the 150K instant funded accounts, really starting next week, with the goal of, overall, with prop firms, the goal of getting moved to a live account. My goal is coming into the futures market, specifically the futures prop firm market, after getting some consistency and starting to make some money in Forex live accounts and then getting burned with Forex prop firm accounts, then coming over to futures, coming in a little bit too overconfident, starting to finally find my footing. This is when I first was starting to trade Top Step at the beginning of last year, so over a year and a half ago. I've been in the markets for around the 5-year mark, 6-year mark. Fully focused on really intraday trading, less than that number. But my goal was to get funded first, right? And here's the stage that I took it. Get funded with Top Step first. Then make it to one singular payout without doing anything crazy, without losing a bunch of accounts. And I did that. I made it to my first Top Step payout in an XFA before losing any XFAs. I also got max funded with Top Step. I just continued to trade combines because this is how slow I think it makes sense to take it. Until I was max funded with 5 XFAs and then finally started trading XFAs and made it to a payout. And then it wasn't immediately great big payouts. These are small, little payouts, right? Lost accounts in between, struggled with different things, tried to, continue to get my footing until I made it to more consistent payouts. All the way fast forward to the beginning of this year, I took a payout every single month. I think I took 8 payouts in the first 6 months, something like that, from Top Step. A payout every single month starting this year, right? With extremely minimal prop firm spend once I started to get my shit together, for lack of a better term. Now, my focus is on, I'm trading top one. My focus is on a move to a live account. Why? I don't think the opportunity to make a whole bunch of money with props is there unless you're going to trade them stupidly aggressively, spend a whole bunch of money, and really leverage teetering on sim farming. I'm watching it tighten up. I'm not going to go too much into that whole scope, right? Like it's a topic for another conversation. But my goal is to be a good trader and do what I do in props, in what I would do in a live account, and continue to do in live accounts and scale, right? So my goal here now with you guys trading top one is to the focus is to get moved to a live account. Not to take prop firm payouts, not to make a whole bunch of money, not to focus on Top Step and copy trading at a million different firms, which people do, but to focus on maybe getting moved live with one firm first, which I have not done yet to this point. Quick water. I know this is a long rant, but I'm going to clip this because I think it's important for you guys to get the full scope of what the hell I'm doing and my plan of attack. So, again, in order to support that, I'm not caring about taking any prop firm payouts because I'm looking at building a buffer. I'm looking at attempting to trade and make more money in the prop firm accounts that I'm taking past when I would be able to take a payout or pushing a consistency rule out at the risk of losing the accounts in order to build a buffer and get called up live, hopefully with a larger amount. You don't exactly know when you're going to get called up live, right? Maybe things don't go exactly the way that you think with your trading and it doesn't go perfectly for you, right? So a lot of things can happen in between there. But in order to do that, I'm trading the 7 straight to funded Sim Pro 150Ks here. These are likely either going to go to, to doing well and getting called up maybe from one of them to a live account or all the way to blowing all of them at the same time since they're being copy traded. The 150K straight to funded pros, I'm going to trade with larger size, right? Pushing the consistency rule out in the goal of building a larger buffer, maybe in one singular one of them, because I'm going to trade them individually and get called live from one of those. In the meantime, which I think is an important note, it begs the question, well, that's a lot of work and a lot of trading and not making, a whole bunch of money. Kind of where do you come from with that logic? I'm grateful and fortunate enough to come to trading in the past and now well-funded. I have live accounts in the stock market, investment brokerages, and I've been testing a whole bunch of different platforms we've been talking about and getting really fully focused on futures for intraday and swing trading in my live personal cash account, not prop firms, okay? That's where I make and lose a considerable amount of money, right? If you're not going to be fully focused on prop firms, or you're going to take a slower approach to prop firms, building buffers and attempting to build buffers, attempting to get moved to a live and then start to build up a live account, you can't expect to be making a whole bunch of money. You can take payouts on the way, especially if you're copy trading, but you're not really leveraging the ability to copy trade and trade really aggressively and smash that reset button. So that's my goals overall, is to continue to get better as a trader, as a risk manager, as a whole, be able to work within prop firm rules, which is difficult. I'll be the first to tell you, which is very difficult. Get moved to a live account, no time horizon, right? Maybe it's in a month, maybe it's months, right? I don't know how I'm going to perform over the next couple months. I don't claim to be the best trader, right? Don't have it all figured out. And I'm attempting to do something now that's even more difficult, which is not just trade well enough to take a payout, but to scale, trade well enough to get called by taking multiple payouts, and trading well where they actually want to take you live and have a big buffer to start, right? So the goalpost continues to shift. And equal to, if not more important, is trading a live account well, being able to continue to size up and challenge myself to trade more size, right? We all know that we can trade well on demo. You start to trade on a live account, maybe you do it with one micro, maybe you gain some consistency. Nothing really changes in the trading itself when you throw on a couple minis, but something changes. Everything changes, right? So it's difficult to do that. So that's my goals. I've talked about this in Discord, but I wanted to reiterate, talk for a couple minutes. I know this was a long rant, and be able to clip this so I could talk in Discord, because I think it's important to say, well, what are you doing and why from a risk management and goals perspective? I think it's less important if you're actually just trying to trade, right? But if you're, looking at what I'm doing versus what somebody else is doing, they're probably two very different things. And it's based on where I'm at with my trading as a whole, my risk tolerance, right? And my capital allocation. I might be in a very different position if I was just 1 year in, right? I might be in a very different position if I wasn't, in a position to have what I and I think most would consider at my level and my age, larger size live accounts, personal live accounts, right? It's different for everybody. Everybody's at different spots in their life. So that's a long explanation of kind of my goals for prop firms, specifically focusing on top one, what my game plan is, and then what I'm doing in the background as well with my trading, right? I'll just say one last thing. I think the most valuable and important thing that anybody can do in this space is what you're seeing right here, right now. Trading live with a P&L running, showing the exact execution, stop loss, target, letting you know what type of account they're on, and do that consistently. Anything else really isn't worth a damn. And I post other stuff. I have fun. I post big P&L screenshots. I talk about trading in live accounts the way that I'm talking about stuff now. That's not really worth anything, okay? Everything can be edited. The system can be gamed in every single way. We've watched it happen with broker statements, with live logins, like, hedging, just anything, just, short time frame of talking about what happened on one day. I talk about it because it's fun, it's entertaining, it's what's actually going on. But I don't think there's any substitute for this right here. You can watch me execute, you can watch me manage risk, you can watch the risk for each trade and how they play out. You can watch my face and how I manage the trades and talk about them and articulate and ask questions. But you get to actually see real live trading over a long period of time for free, not even behind a paywall, which is even better. That's my demonstration of my skills and abilities, which I just let speak for themselves, and you guys can decide. And I'm always the first to say that I don't think I'm the best. I don't have it all figured out. So the stuff that I do and talk about outside, always feel free to grain of salt it. I would definitely encourage you to grain of salt it with everybody else, and I would encourage you to grain of salt it with me. So that's the full focus here. So hope this helps, guys. That was a long rant. I wanted to be able to clip this. It was almost 10 minutes, but I really wanted to talk about what I'm doing, why, different accounts, kind of that fun stuff. So hope this helps. If you guys have questions, feel free to let me know. And we'll go back to talking. So again, watching this, talk about the trade real quick. Watching this trade play out, I made a note of the time so I could clip it. Here, let's see if you guys have questions. What you got going on? and then we'll talk about the trade. I'm letting this one run. I want to see this bad boy move or come down and take me out. It's either going to be a nice correction or a gnarly bloody day where we're going to move absolutely lower. What's up, Mohammed? What's up, Scott? You're good, bro. So if they don't take you live, will they leave you in sim? Money Reaper. Most prop firms are going to take you live after a certain point. There could be multiple things that happen, right? Maybe you get to that payout amount, and at multiple different prop firms, they say, we don't want you in sim. We don't want you in live yet. We're gonna leave you in sim for another environment, for another time frame. Maybe they give you an option. Like I just watched Top Step give a trader in my community, and they actually posted the email. The option, they said he didn't really have a big balance. You can get moved live. You can wait to get moved live. A lot of different things can happen. But in general, you want to think in terms of, if I trade well, and if the prop firm is not just a bucket shop, they're going to want to call me up to live at a certain point, right? How can I put myself in a good position for that time frame and when I think that's going to happen? You know, what's up, the guy? Yes, Strong Trader saw his video. Super jealous. Yes, Strong Trader. Tanner, killing it, dude. Absolutely killing it. He's one of the first out of my circle that's moved to a live account with Top 1 Futures with the max amount, 15K, in a real live account. Sick. That's what I would like to achieve, man. What I'd like to achieve. So, loan, I feel vindicated. Thanks, Trader Julie Kate. I didn't even get the Sim Garden. I have 3 accounts. So one account I need to get a max payout, and then the other 2 continue to get payout. Okay, so here's the way to think about this. I know you've made it to a couple payouts, and you can clarify if you want. I never ask people to share, right? You guys are hanging out in chat. You don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. You can ask questions, right? Just same way that I'll tell you, I'm not going to answer. Someone asked me how big my shoe size was one time, and that was leading down a dark road. So I'll either not answer, or I'll just ban you. So from the 3 accounts that you're trading, are you copy trading together or not? If you're not, likely, if you've taken multiple payouts, even if you haven't taken them from the same account, but you're trading them well, I think you're probably likely to get called from the next payout, or be considered from one account, right? So what a lot of traders will do, if they're extremely confident, they'll just copy trade, and they'll say, I'm going to get paid the max amount on the way to being considered from any one of these 3 accounts, which I'm copy trading. So all at the same time would be paused, but I'm going to take max payouts on the way to getting moved live. Maybe you want to put yourself in an even more favorable position and trade them individually, because you know only one is going to get considered for a live call up. You're not going to take max payouts copy trading all 3. You would only take a payout from one at a time, which would be smaller, but not that big of a deal if your goal is to get moved to live. And you would trade them maybe a little bit more aggressively. And if you lost 1, you would lose 1 and not 3, right? And if you get called up after building a buffer, you don't have 3 accounts with huge buffer and only 1 gets taken live. But you can answer some of the questions, and I'm happy to kind of like give you my thoughts. Let's see. These Bunsen base hits are killing me softly. I'm $200 short of a payout on my first ever funded 50K. Yes. Is it best to wait to build up a buffer or use the money for the 150K account? No. Dwayne. So here we go. Back to the beginning of this conversation, right? My thoughts on what traders should do, it differs based on where you're at. Your first ever funded 50K, you're about to be eligible to take a payout. In my humble opinion, I don't care what the payout is. Go and take the payout. I've watched so many traders be eligible to take a payout, not take one, and then run the account back down into the ground, right? Prove concept to yourself first. Take a payout, get paid, make it real. Check the box off of, not only funded trader, but paid out. Almost nobody makes it. So that's where I would think. You don't want to start to scale and think about live accounts if you've never made it to a payout, right? Baby steps first. That's what makes sense to me. Other traders will tell you differently, but that's what makes sense to me. I've on at least a dozen occasions, I've talked to traders who have been eligible to take thousands of dollars in payouts after never being able to take a payout, make money, put it in their bank account, not taking it in the pursuit of taking a $10,000 payout or something, and then lost the entire account. At least a dozen. We're just talking about it in the community again. I think 2 weeks ago. Just trying to get to retirement. Scott, yeah, you guys are talking. Wolf, talking about retirement. You guys are yapping it up. It's awesome. Hell of a call on this trade, Zach. We'll see. Not yet. 2 copy trade and 1 just opened. Take the money. Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Zach. Yeah, Dwayne, again, so it just kind of makes logical sense, right? If we think about this in a bigger picture, if you have a business, right, or if you have a product, or you're running an experiment, right, and you're not exactly sure of how it's going to progress, and you know you're operating in a very nonlinear space, does it make sense to put it all on the line up front, or to continue to take on heavy risk as you start to make some progress before you've really had some outcome? No, I think pay yourself, make it real, and be able to have that money to reinvest, to do whatever you want with, to celebrate. But you're always able to scale the same way if you're trading in a live account, right? If your goal is you're coming from demo to go to a live account, does it make sense, which so many of us do, including myself, to go from demo to a really big size live account? No, take some time. It's not wasted. In my humble opinion, you're mitigating risk to lose money or prove concept on a small amount first and then start to scale up. We're always able to scale later on. So that's my thought. That's my thought process. Good questions, guys. And again, I hope this conversation is helpful. It was a little bit more talking about like what my goals are and kind of what I'm doing, which I think can help put things into context. You're not going to see prop firm payouts from me coming up at all. You're certainly not going to see huge copy traded P&Ls from multiple different prop firms, right? I'm going to have larger size live wins and losses, which I'm trading, and maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. But again, it's not really worth too much. So, but you will see me copy trading these accounts until I make it to a payout or lose them. And if I lose them, I'd probably trade one individual 150K at a time here with you guys live. I'm reading you guys. Trader Julie Kate, you asked, you're 2 copy traded and 1 I just opened. Yeah. So again, you can think about it in terms of you're gonna get considered and called from 1 account. And if you're trading them individually or copy trading back and forth and you're going to take a payout, whatever the account you take a payout on is the one that is going to get considered. So if you're trading 150K accounts and in your position, which is not everybody, not Dwayne, not everybody else, and is uncommon because not many traders get this consistent, but you've now taken multiple payouts, you're probably going to get kicked live. You probably want to put yourself in a advantageous position to do that, in which case it would be, thinking about a goal. Do you want to try to go live with the max amount? How much money do you have to have in the account? You can answer this question. You need $15,000 after a payout. Do you want to take the max payout and then potentially get called live? You would need $18,500 in 1 account to take a $3,500 payout, which would be the max amount, before getting called live. This was a lot of yapping, guys, while I'm watching this trade play out. I'm just taking another quick look at the market. There was not too much for me to do. There we go. We got some motion on this one. Got some motion in the ocean. Here's the long sigh, and here's kind of my analysis here, right? So you guys know that in drawdown, I really don't do anything. The trade's going to run. I'm giving the trade room to breathe. I place a stop. I place an entry. That's it. No take profit unless I'm pulling a set it and forget it, which I do often when I move away from the charts or, but I allow myself the discretionary close based on what's happening. This one, we really didn't bounce the way that I would have liked quickly. We're just peaking back above prior day low. And while this can certainly turn out to be a banger trade, I have a lot leaning that it might not. Here's number one, the momentum and the price action out of this area on the chart that we're looking at together. I wanted to see a really aggressive bounce right back up to VWAP and through. We did not get that. We did not get that. We We are poking back above prior day low. We are now kind of losing some strength in this pull back up. Another big thing that, again, I'm debating a little bit more. I've been watching Bookmap not for a long time, but been using CVD and Bookmap levels now for a decent amount. I find it very helpful. I do like it, but I've had to question a couple times, how many times it's hurt me, because every tool is going to work against you at a certain point, right? You're going to use it in a certain way, and maybe it's the only thing that prevents you from entering along, like yesterday, and it's an issue. But I don't have too much hindsight bias. But we have a very, very negative CVD, negative 14,000. Sell volume has really not given up. And while we started to poke back above, the low of this was like, what was the low of this? Zoom out here. Yeah, the low of CVD was like negative 16,000, negative 15,000. We really have not found a lot of buyers with buy volume coming back in. I would have really liked to see that increase already. I would have liked to see that start to pump right back up. This is a tough one. This did not give me really enough to look to take some serious profit on, obviously, right? And I'm going to look to make a discretionary call here. This could absolutely turn into a banger trade. This could be this could be the low of the day already put in, and we could come right back up and run through highs. But I've got to manage this down here and make the conscious decision to leave $1,000 worth of risk on the line in pursuit of that, based on what I've seen so far. And this is really not the reaction that I wanted to see. Tough call, right? And we have to live with whatever the decision is. I take it off here and we rally, 50 points. I have to watch that, not being in the market, knowing that I was long from 67.25. I leave this on here after we didn't do anything too crazy and we come back down through the low. I have to recognize I have $1,000 worth of risk on the line and had an opportunity to potentially manage. Yeah, guys, this is a tough one. It's a tough one. Right now, as I'm talking, I'm leaving the decision at least right now, right? Because I'm still in to leave it on. I don't know if we're going to dump here. I really don't know. There's a lot of talk about prop firms and a whole bunch of different stuff, and started to let that trade play out for a while and just breathe, do its thing. Got back above prior day low on a couple candles there, but I really just don't love what I'm seeing on Bookmap. We got quite a bit of liquidity right here at 65s. We also have it at the 60s, at the 55s. Ooh, they took it off. Yeah, I don't know that I like this. I really don't know that I like this. I don't like taking my trades off at break even. I don't like not letting them play out. This is a wide stop loss trade with a wide take profit. The goal is not to grab a couple $100 or to just get stopped out. If I'm gonna ever make any progress in prop accounts or any accounts, right, you got to put your trades on, let them play out. And this one would be a really discretionary close, without it moving in my direction, which is not really the consistency that I apply day in and day out. And I'm cautious against making that call. And I think I'm gonna have to stick to my approach, which is leaving this thing on and watching it play out. But if you're not long already, I'd be cautious down here, man. Sorry, guys. I'm zoned in for a minute. We did a lot of yapping. I was answering a lot of questions in the chat, and I do want to be able to pay attention when I'm trading as well a little bit. Yeah, the bottom line is, when I revert to what I do day in and day out, the bottom line is that's not enough, right? That's not enough. And if I stop myself out or I close trades 5 points in profit with a 20-point stop loss, I'm not going to do much of anything besides lose money in the long run. So this one's going to be painful if it comes down and takes me out, but I think I have to see it through. We'll see. We'll see how Bookmap could have been helping me or hurting me today. Screaming at me with CVD. Yeah, why at the 440s do we have liquidity? Like, what are we doing down at the 440s, guys? It's like nothing there. Yes, man. Yep, I'm gonna have to see it through. That's my play. Gonna see it through. We'll see. Put my trades on, let them play out. Back to the chat. Chatting up with you guys. Let me grab some water. I'll be right back, guys. I'll fill my water back up. Let this one run. All right, how'd a chair do? Not great. Not great. Yeah, this one's gonna be tough. This one's gonna be tough, man. Gonna be one of those weeks for me. Gonna be one of these weeks. Let's see, man. Here's our untested volume point of control from the 26th. We're dipping down to the 55s. Does not look good. I had a strong inclination to close this. Made the conscious decision to leave it on. You guys watched the thought process. Right as we failed to continue really higher here. I'm just watching a 15-minute chart because it's a bigger play. Really, as we failed to continue higher here and we came back down to dance around the lows. I find in the long run, as painful as this is going to be to watch it come down and take me out for $1,000, I find in the long run that not sticking to my plan, stopping myself out at break even, partial win, partial losses, really everything in between, letting the trade move to a nice winner around, let's say, at least a half an R plus to start considering a close, or all the way to a stop out. I find anything in between there, which is what I was going to do, hurts me in the long run. What does that mean? It means I'll have days like today in trade management. It means I'll have days like today where it didn't look wonderful. I had a pretty strong inclination. I wanted to close it. I didn't close it, and it comes all the way down to take me out, right? If I start closing, and the other piece of it is, if I start closing, right, I start taking myself out at break even, and then it does continue down, you guys go, great close, yay, we didn't lose $1,000. I'm reinforcing a bad habit. I'm reinforcing something that is the easier, more comforting thing to do, which is take risk off the line and really not apply consistency at all to trade management, which is something I've attempted to apply more consistency to. I have to trust my data and think in large sample sizes to a degree, and my data shows that pulling that move over the long run, over 100 trades or 50 trades, is not the move, is not the right call. My P&L is going to be worse off because, yes, I will have some days, a smaller portion that I clip myself at break even and continue all the way to stop loss and I save $1,000. But I will also have days that I clip myself at break even and the trade goes and runs. And the quantity and the risk to reward that I can benefit from, it does not add up to stop myself. So, long way of saying I'm holding this bad boy, and the explanation as to why specifically today. But again, there are days where if you're attempting to apply some consistency, right? There are days where, and you trade for long enough, you'll have a decent bit of discretion, a decent bit of intuition, and you will have to act against that, right? If you want to apply consistency and limit at certain points where you're going to allow yourself discretion. If I have just complete flexibility, discretion, and intuition, what I think most traders find is they can do really well for certain periods of time, and then they can do really, really poorly for long periods of time as well, because there's just so much flexibility and not a lot of discretion at all. It becomes very difficult to grasp onto what actually works. When you're doing well, it's hard to really replicate it and be able to scale with it because you don't know what's going to work and not work, right? It's hard to collect any kind of real hard data if you're doing something completely different every day. So anyway, that's my thought process here. I really don't love this, though. We're going to watch how it plays out. I'm hopeful, right, when I should be fearful, and fearful when I should be hopeful. But I would like to see this against my gut move all the way back up in profit and get me out for a nice win here with you guys. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm going to stick to my guns and trade my system, trade my approach, right? At the very least, if I apply consistency and I structure my trades and apply strict risk management parameters, I can find what's not working and I can adjust from there, right? If I don't do the first two things, I can't do the third thing. So that's my thought process here. Leaving this bad boy on. All right, back to the chat. Before we even yap about that, appreciate you guys hopping on. We got a bunch of people on here, man. Almost 11 o'clock. Real quick, guys, because this is the last time I'm going to be live before next week when I'm not live at all. Also, quick reminder for those of you guys that hopped on late. I trade live here every damn day, almost every damn day, 100% free. YouTube, Kick, on X, but hop over from X if you're on Twitter. I'm not going to be live next week at all. Traveling, also limited responses from me. If you hit me up on Instagram, Discord, whatever it is, limited responses, man. I'm traveling the world. I'm going to try to enjoy myself. If you want to, check out Top 1 Futures. There's $1 million giveaway rolling right now. Chance to win one of 40 25K instant funded accounts. These are the accounts with end of day trailing drawdown, no intraday trailing drawdown. They're instant funded, no activation, no challenge, no activation fee, none of that stuff. 40 of them up for grabs. Use code RDF, better than the email, better than the website, better than the Discord, better than anything else you're going to find, gets you an entry to win one of these 40. If you guys want to check it out, head to the site. Link is in the chat. You want to support me, support the channel. Here's a way to do it. But as always, first and foremost, and most importantly, recognize I'm biased. I stand to make money, so I can't be unbiased. I'm partnered. I'm affiliated. Go to the website yourself. Read the rules. Do your own research. Make the best decision for yourself. Pick situations and opportunities that are the best situation for you personally. If you want to check it out, link is in the chat. I see I'm sorry, my bad. We got a bunch of people yapping in Kick. Sorry, guys. What's up? Just copped a good W long on NQ. Nice. Where's the baklava? Yeah, sorry, guys. Didn't have the chair's face up today. Taking too long. Taking long too. I see you. Yeah, but this is taking a long time. This is taking a long time also. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get. We come through this low. I think I'm cooked. We maybe come around it, dance around the 55s again, maybe. But we come through this low, I think 64.40. I'll frame this to the downside. I'll give you guys one more piece. I think we got a situation now, based on new market-generated information. It's 250 on the book down here. I think I could be in for an extremely frustrating one where we tap the 40s, 64 40s, and then bounce. I think that could be extremely frustrating, but it could happen. I think more likely, if we really start to sell off, we knife down, and it's a gnarly day. We get close to the 6400s, probably within a couple points of that. Stop loss is based on my entry, which was quite a while ago. Didn't have orders at the 6440s, not a level that I'm paying attention to based on all the tools that I use. We got to come outside of this and really continue down. I don't know. I don't know how far we probed down before we found buyers. I don't know that we do. But we'll see. We'll let it play out. But good conversations, good questions, man. Good talking about prop firms and payouts and thought processes, right? So let's see what we're talking about. Scrolling all the way back up. We're old. Hey, Zach, you going to the Bear Conference with Tom Hogard in LA? I'm not, Trader Julie Kate. I'm not going to that conference, but I'm seriously considering another one that I can't remember if you brought up or another trader brought up, but it's the, I'm not affiliated or partnered or anything with this, and I always like to talk about when I am and when I'm not. The Tom Hogard, Al Brooks price action, I think they call it the price action seminar in Orlando. It's a 4-day event, and I'm at a stage in my trading where there's not too much that I would personally like to be a complete student at and pay a nice chunk of change because it ain't cheap. Relatively. for 4 days, right? You got to travel, you got to stay in a hotel. The price of the seminar is a couple $1,000. There's not much that I would like to be a student at completely, but I really would for that one. I think the caliber of guys that are presenting and trading live there are the top for retail trading, right? Sure, there's a ton of other different stuff you can go look at and see and talk about, but for intraday trading in the futures market on U.S. indices, which is what those guys do, specifically around naked charts, price action, and they're ready to run it live like that for multiple days. There's like 8 people going to speak. I think it's worth it. Also, I really wanted to see. I was considering going to Europe. This was years ago to try to get in front of Tom Hogard and Dr. David Paul. And David Paul passed away like right after. And I was like, damn, man, I missed an opportunity to go see some guys that are legends. I've read their books. I've watched their stuff. They've influenced my trading in really positive ways. If nothing else, I'd like to say thank you, for helping out. And those guys are getting older, right? Like, I think like Al Brooks is getting older. He's not a super duper young guy. And, if you wait to do things, sometimes you're just not good. You also put yourself around your community, right? I love in-person stuff. The conversations that you have with people are just second to none. You really can't put a price on it. So I'm really considering going to that one. It's in October in Orlando for 4 days. It's a Saturday to Tuesday. It's like full days with these guys. So I'm seriously considering going to that one. But again, just like anything else, I think like if you stop learning, you stop getting better, right? I'm not looking to pay for a bunch of stuff and learn any new strategies or anything like that. But I think you can pick up a ton being around people that you consider above you, right? That are better than you, that have been doing what you are doing for 5-6 times as long. These guys have been in the markets for decades and decades, right? The just the perspectives and the things they can provide, I think, are incredible. So that's what I'm planning to do. I would check it out if you guys are interested in a super sick in-person event. There's the Friendly Bear Conference with Tom Hogard. I think it's the Friendly Bear, or it's the Bear Conference with Tom Hogard and Austin Silver and another gentleman whose name I forget in LA in October. And there's also something in Orlando in October, which is Al Brooks and Tom Hogard. So, and again, like I've gone to speak at in-person stuff, but I can't, and I've said it there. I can't tell you how much I take away. It's incredible. It's really awesome. So I'm probably going to go to that one. Really anything in person with trading, there's just so few and far between. If you find something that's even remotely close to you or you can get yourself to, like I would consider it. How big was your stop loss, Zach? It's on the chart, my brother. It's on the chart. It's 20 points. Give me the doom and gloom. Dang, worked for UPS for 28 years. Good people there. Might be in the military. Oh, awesome. Thank you for your service. That's badass. Had family that was in the military, and I always think, man, I'm super grateful for you guys, so I can sit behind a screen and click buttons in the AC. So you got tough people that are keeping everybody free. So that was a good question. Sorry, you asked me that one, Trader Julie Kate, so I responded. Good question though. Got my money back. Nice quick short. Holiday weekend. Take your coins. Get the W. Yeah. Again, guys, I'd be cautious trading today. Holiday weekend coming up. End of the month, like we talked about. End of the month. End of October. End of October. We're talking about the events in October. End of August. Markets closed Monday. And I'd be cautious next week. Coming into September, heed my warning on this one. I'll be the first to say it. I'm going to do some fun stuff while I'm on the trip. I'm not going to talk too much about it. You'll see some content afterwards as far as trading stuff goes. But heed my words. I think we're going to have some action next week. That's if I had to bet, I would say we have some action next week. And not just NFP on Friday. Gonna trade Bookmap. The clicking makes me think on Safari. Gotcha. Good morning. What's up, AVS Phoenix Trading? Love these fund managers pulling and placing orders at random. Can you tell it's the end of the month? Yeah, man. It's a little bit interesting on Bookmap. Definitely interesting on Bookmap. Watching Joe Hammerth commercial. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. You guys are talking to each other. I think that's awesome. I honestly, I think it's so awesome that you guys all talk to each other in the chat and in the community. If you're not in the free community, hop in Discord. Using your code in spades this weekend. RDF coming back. Let's go. Yeah, man. Again, make the best decision for you guys. Hey, Zach, don't look now. Coming back. Yeah. Back to break even, chat. Again, I'm not super excited about this one. I liked my entry initially. I wanted to see the initial bounce. If we start to come back through towards the 80s, I do like this, but I don't like what developed after I got into the trade. I stuck to my guns as far as risk management so far. This could still come straight through, knife to be a straight loss. And in fact, if we come through the low after doing this, I think I'd be shocked if I made it out alive. I made it out without a single loss, far from being dead. If we do start to come back towards VWAP, I do like this one for a little bit potential of a movement here. Didn't completely come through the low. We found some buyers down here again. They're at least putting up a fight. It just does not look beautiful from my perspective, especially looking at Bookmap. But we put our trades on without reservation or hesitation, in the wise words of Mark Douglas, who has also passed away. Let's see. Reading the chat. Sorry, guys, that we talked about a lot of different stuff. Is there any activation fee after passing the challenge? So these Top 1 Futures is instant funded accounts. They have two different versions, and they have a challenge account. If you take the challenge account, which is very inexpensive, they start at like $30-$40. There is a $150 activation fee. Same at majority of prop firms. The instant funded accounts are no activation fee. No activation fee. Love watching your trades work out, brother. You helped me get rid of my break-even habits. It's either stop-loss trail or trail as I get close to profits. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Listen, again, we might watch this one come back down on me, guys, but and I trade, I think, very differently than most that you see. Not very differently, but differently as far as the frequency of trades. Most guys are scalping super duper low time frame, 1,000 trades. I go no trades on a lot of my sessions. I take trades that I hold until after. I've done stuff that is entertaining and fun, and I got to try to do stuff that works for me, that genuinely works. And for me, I have a strong suit, I believe, of holding my trades the way that you're watching me do right now. And I have a good read, or I feel at least I have a good read of all of the tools that I use a little bit more zoomed out, which would make sense to use a wider stop loss and a wider take profit. My data just supports that also. So if I can do nothing else than demonstrate, I'm going to try to stick to one thing that I like to do. That's what I'll do here. But I appreciate you saying that, man. So what's up, man? You're here all the time. Carlos, agree. Appreciate you, man. It's generally best. I've had more and more traders, which is interesting. When I don't have a trade on, or I'd have a no trade session, I have way less views, way less engagement, way less people hop into the Discord, right? If I go no trade, it's just generally less. But I've had so many more people tell me nowadays that they enjoy watching people with me and other people, because I've had other people talk about it, that can be very patient, that can wait for their setup to come to them, that can not trade if the market's really not doing anything good for them, that can hold their trades towards take profit or stop loss. So I'm happy that might be a good thing. In the past, there's always pressure, right? As a person that streams, you want to put on a show, you want to manage risk, you want to have something that's entertaining, and sometimes just talking about the market and saying I don't have a setup is not so fun, but it's nice to hear that you guys find value in it either way. It's generally best to not trade on a bank holiday, UK based, so we'll be stuck working. Yeah. There's very few times that I completely I take myself out of the market. Very few times. Outside of travel, holiday, vacation, whatever, where I'm doing something fun, trading from the phone or whatever, just setting and forgetting some stuff, swing trading. Major US holidays. I do not like to trade. on and around days when markets are closed or partial close, I really don't like to trade. I find price action and market structure to not be the same or similar to when that's not the case. I've also I trust my data. I've gotten cooked specifically the weekend between Christmas and New Year's a couple times. It was like 2 years in a row. And it was just inherently painful to really be pushing towards the end of the year and wanting to make profit and to be taking focus away from, being with family and friends and just chilling out. I traded really poor market conditions and lost money. And it was a really big slap in the face to say, what are you doing, bro? You got a lot of days to trade. I forget how many. It's not 365. It's under 300. But why are you trading during major U.S. holidays when the markets are like halfway closed or right before and right after? So that's when I don't like to trade. During and right around major U.S. holidays, the biggest stretch that I don't like to trade is right in between Christmas and New Year's. So I did. Al Brooks, how my bias? Hi, today my bias going wrong and I lost $1,500. Sorry to hear that, brother. It sucks. It happens, though. It happens. What is the fee to get funded after passing the one-day challenge? I used your code. Let's look at it, brother. Let's look at it together while we're hanging out watching this trade. I'm going to wrap up somewhat soon. Maybe we get a pump out of this and I get to take some profits. Maybe it dumps on me and we take an L, but we're in it. But while we're hanging out, to answer this question, get rid of that. Here's the 3 accounts because now 2 people have asked this. Can you guys see this on your screen? Yeah. If I scroll up, I think you can see it really good. On the challenge account, it's $150, $149. There's a challenge fee, right? The monthly price, which is a challenge fee, which is actually better if you use code RDF. And there's a $149 once you pass activation fee. There's no activation fee in the instant sim funded, which is the larger money but better trading conditions, in my humble opinion, account. Overall, there is none in the straight to sim funded, which is the lower cost, ability to leverage more, copy traded more, but a little bit tighter rule set accounts. Straight to sim funded pro, instant sim funded, and one step elite. You guys want to check it out? Again, code RDF not only gets you the best deal, but also an entry to win one of 40 25K instant funded accounts. If you guys got questions, feel free to ask, and I'll yap about it. I guess I try. Let's see. You guys were talking. Wow, that is true. Tom is in his upper 50s. Al Brooks is 73. Yeah, Al Brooks is 73. That's older. AVS I try. Most important, not stray from your personal path. Always stick to your guns. Yeah, hell yeah. Austin, the DJ, day trader. Yeah. Austin's the man. There you go. David Capablanca is hosting the Friendly Bear Conference. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Friendly Bear. Yeah. I never want to get anything wrong for anybody, but yeah, that one's in LA. Should be sick. Should be awesome. If you're on the West Coast, I wouldn't miss all those guys talking. Obviously, I think majority of people have heard Best Loser Wins, right? The name of the book. Tom Hogard wrote The Best Loser Wins. That's who we're talking about in person. He also lives in Europe. He's not from the U.S., so it's few and far between that you catch him over here. Let's see. We're talking about double top. Yeah, this thing's still kind of bouncing around. Not finding a whole bunch of buyers, but not quite dying out. Not yet. Let's see. Want to get take at least the last 2 weeks of the year off. I want to get to the point where I can take the last 2 weeks of the year off. Yeah. I think making trading a big part of your life. I usually don't talk about, the upsides of trading. We know what they are, right? You guys seen the Rolexes and the Lambos and all that stuff. No, having the freedom and flexibility to trade for wherever you want, from wherever you want, to not trade, to trade sometimes, is really incredible. I also think you can do a lot of things outside of trading and around trading, which I do, to also make money. But setting yourself up for freedom in your career is really incredible. And I think there's a question that more and more people are starting to ask, what is the trade-off if I'm working 65, 75 hours a week to make 100 grand, for example, right? Or I can potentially make the same or even less and have complete freedom and flexibility. Even in that case, I think it's really interesting. Really interesting. So, perfect trade schedule. 1 hour per day, long weekends, playing trades. Nice. Definitely has helped me. I'm like what Zach would do. Wait for his setup. Yeah. Wait for your trade setups, guys. Whatever that means. You guys are funny. The top. All right, guys. So this one's on. What are we doing on Bookmap? Still a really negative CVD. I'm not closing this. It's now giving me another opportunity. Like I talked about, I'm holding on to the trade. I'd rather just take the loser than have it rip and not be in the market. It's fine. I really didn't get a lot of trading on in these accounts. Obviously, we went no trade yesterday. I went no trade Monday. It was a close near break even and then one full L, but that was like a $650 L or $680 something L. So didn't really utilize a lot of risk to the upside or downside. Do I want to end Friday taking a $1,000 L in these accounts, copy trading them? No. I think the more painful thing for me personally would be to watch this rip, knowing that I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and not be out for a profit rather than the full L. So again, this is also just following your whatever your trading plan is, roughly. But this is just not it, as the kids say. Not it, as the kids say. So we'll see. Got orders getting moved around. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I got the live account loaded up. We should start moving some orders around. Start moving some orders around. Let's see. Good reminder why I don't want to go back to a job. Traffic was nuts. I'm grateful to get stuck in crazy traffic every once in a while. Yeah. Oh no, what's Bill Bear going to say? Yeah, no, again, like I've made some videos on it. I've made, talking about it. Again, I do the lifestyle stuff, and I'm going to do a little bit more of it because like it's just my life. Like you're going to see a bunch of lifestyle stuff after this trip, which is fun. But I think like a big thing that's slept on is everybody wants to just make $1 bazillion, which is obviously what we're all here to do, is make money. But if you look at different career paths, working remotely versus working in an office, working with minimal autonomy and flexibility versus unlimited, flexibility and to do whatever you want. There's a huge advantage and disadvantage, right? To both sides. But I think we see a lot more people considering the entrepreneurship style path. Maybe it's day trading along with investing and real estate and maybe content creation, things like that over the more traditional stuff. Or you see people transitioning out of the more traditional stuff like you saw me do personally. For that freedom and flexibility, right? I have family in different spots in the country. I have little nieces and nephews that run around. I like to go run around. Trading allows me to do that. I don't have to ask anybody. I don't have a boss. There's obvious huge downsides to that, though, right? Extremely inconsistent income flow from things like all of the stuff that I just mentioned. There's no health benefits. There's no 401k, right? There's no salary to this type of stuff. So, it's not to say that there's not downsides. But you got to weigh all of that. Let's see. Yesterday I had to go to, we were talking about that. Zach, I just requested my payout and they're stating it is available. Zach, will this rip into the close? In my opinion, at least this will rip into the close. In my opinion, at least to VWAP. We'll see. ABS, thank you. Maybe they are back to 24 to 48 hour payouts. Checking now. Top 1 futures is back to the 24 to 48 hour payouts. Woohoo! Nice. There we Trader Julie Kate. Let's go. So guys, we have an unbiased, not partnered and affiliated trader. First off, W's in the chat for Trader for taking the payout in the first place. But give us because you gave us a really accurate number. Give me the number. I'd love to hear this. We talked about payout speeds, hoping to come down. When did you request and when was it available? Or when was it made available? Or where did you get that information from? Maybe I should ask. I didn't want to say anything, right? Because I don't like to just stick my neck out for no reason, especially if I don't hear it from you guys. If you go to the general chat in Top 1 Futures right now, which is not all biased people, the bottom one I see is received my payout, paid in 40 hours. We have another trader that's posting a $22,500 lifetime. Wow. Got my payout 36 hours. Thanks to everyone at Top 1. 2 payouts under 48 hours. So, yeah. Again, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Wasn't really too worried. I did say that I wasn't a big fan of payouts being delayed and things taking 96 hours, but was looking forward to this starting to happen, and that is sick. Looks like payout speed's coming down. But Trader Julie Kate, let me know. Requested it 26 hours ago. Yeah. Yes. Very nice. There we go, guys. Love to hear that. Payout speed coming back down. Very nice. Awesome. Got an email stating they approved it. Rise just received it. Checking. Rise said they received it. Checking now. Nice. Probably be tomorrow, right? Probably be what's today? Friday. Probably be Monday, right? If you're able to withdraw to a bank account. But that's the speed we want to see, right? A week is a long time. It's tough. It's tough. The bar is just really high. So anyway, guys, that's awesome. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, which is what we're talking about here, code RDF. I'm going to plug it one more time. Code RDF gets you 50% off. And now, again, a fast payout speed, hopefully. 50% off all accounts. This ends on Sunday. One of 40 25K instant funded accounts are up for grabs. $1 million in instant funded accounts getting given away. You want to check it out? There is the banner one more time. Here is the link. I'm going to throw 2 links in here. The link to check this out, which is right here. And the link to the 100% free trading Discord. If you guys don't know me, I talked a lot about, what I have going on, so I'm not going to go back through it. But this is the link to the 100% free trading Discord. Not a VIP, not a course, no paid, nothing, okay? I trade live here on YouTube, free almost every damn day, and Kick and X, okay? I give you all the sauce. I show you what trading looks like for me. I don't consider myself to be the best trader, right? I'm just another dumb money retail trader looking to try to make some money trading, okay? Do the impossible. Prove everybody wrong. I think I got some juice, but I don't like to claim anything when you can just watch it and decide for yourself. I would encourage you to come and hang out if you find value. You can do whatever you want. I would encourage you to come and hop in the free Discord, share your journey, share your trading. There's over 2,000 members in there, 100% free. Again, not a VIP feeder program. This stuff is all free 99. We'd be more than happy to have you in there. Quick reminder again, outside of the Top 1 Futures deal, next week, I'm off the charts, traveling the beautiful world. I'm so excited and grateful and thankful to be able to do that. If you want to check in, feel free to do it in Discord, but limited responses in Discord across socials. I'll have a whole bunch of stuff posting, so it'll look like I'm super duper active. But if you want to follow me on IG, that's probably honestly the best spot because I'm going to post a bunch to Instagram story. That's when I'm traveling and running around and I just have my phone. That's where I'm the most active with regular day-to-day stuff. So one more link for you guys. There's IG. Let's see. We were talking about. I missed the guys in. In Kick. So I'm gonna talk to you guys that are in Kick. They're still here. Zach, can you try marble races? Not yet. Stay calm. Trust the process. Could climb back up slowly to high of day, or could dump back down. Yep. We don't know. Still climbing so far though. So we'll see. 50-50. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie, War Dogs. It's hysterical. I made a meme from it. He goes, they're like driving through like some crazy country in like the Middle East during like the war, I think. And they go, he's like, is this safe? And he's like, 50-50. And they're like, what? He's like, yes, it's very safe. 50-50. And they're like, what? And he's like, what do you mean 50-50? 50% we live, 50% we die? And he's like, yeah, 50-50. He goes, dude, it doesn't know. It's so funny. I used to say that all the time in another community. It's hysterical. 50-50. Neo, keep your head up, brother. Keep your head up. This price action, everything's been tough, man. Everybody, not everybody, but price action market structure's been tough, man. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. If you're struggling, keep it in control. Don't keep losing money. Try not to. Size down, slow down. Keep working towards the goal. Keep doing the hard work. Journal, review, try to improve. Stick to your guns. Guys, I appreciate you hopping on the stream. Thank you for being here. I'm going to let this bad boy rip. We're going to see what we can do. I don't know. The 480s could be a problem, just to frame this trade before I hop off. This could be another issue. We could see a retest and then come down. I'm going to take a look over here. Hop in Discord. I'm going to try to call it out, but I'm traveling in a couple hours, so I don't have much time. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for every one of you. I'm extremely grateful for anybody that supports the channel, that uses a code, that subs. I had people do random gift stuff on YouTube that was crazy. Thank you for being here. I really I really am grateful for all of you guys, and I appreciate you all. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. I'm an idiot here yapping on YouTube for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Trading is extremely risky. Almost everybody that trades loses money. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. No streams next week. Hop in Discord, hop on socials, hop in Instagram. You want to catch where I'm traveling around and what I'm doing. I'll be posting a bunch of pictures and stuff. So thanks, guys. Safe travel, Zach. Appreciate you. Thank you, Zach. I truly appreciate you. Proper risk management wins. Proper risk management. That's it. That wins. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thanks for being here as we're ending this stream right about break even. Talk to you guys soon. Have an